Hello and welcome to another Spideydude.com YouTube channel unboxing video. Today, I'm really excited. I'm Javi Trujillo, by the way. This is going to be an unboxing of the Hot Toys Spider-Man No Way Home Amazing Spider-Man figure. Yeah, that's a lot to say, but let's not waste any more time. This movie came out a long time ago, 2021. It's now 2023. I can't wait to see what this looks like in person, so let's get going. All right, here is the front of the box. So, okay, as you can see, clearly it says at the top, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man, and then underneath that, 1/6 scale collectible figure. I'm sorry, the correct number is MMS 658. And the top, as we just saw earlier, The Amazing Spider-Man, MMS 658, 1/6 scale. Man, for a second, I almost thought that was the PlayStation Spider logo. And the back, it's got a nice little electric shine to it. And again, Amazing Spider-Man, some metallic lightning. Let's get it out of the plastic. All right, here's a little bit closer look. Really impressed, just the whole metallic aspect of the box. Amazing Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man. And just lift this up and you can start to see the hands. And there he is underneath. Sorry about the glare. We got Peter. Unmasked Peter head. All right, this glare is killing me. Sorry, guys. All right, quick change of environment. On the left, obviously, you have the outer casing of the box. And up here, the figure himself. Taking a closer glare look, you've got Peter 3's head, Amazing Spider-Man himself, mask, whole bunch of hands. So here's the deal, guys. We got Amazing Spider-Man branding all over this. With great power comes great responsibility. Amazing Spider-Man. So internet legend has it that there came licensing issues with Andrew Garfield. And that's why this one is branded as an Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure instead of the appropriate Spider-Man No Way Home Amazing Spider-Man Peter 3 figure. Now, if you want No Way Home branding, you've got to get the Lizard Deluxe Diorama base, which has a No Way Home brand and comes with an accessory that the water bottle that contained his cure. But everyone else is No Way Home branded except for this guy. So let's open up the top and let's see, without the glare, what's inside. All right, we just got the tray. Slide them out. All right, let's take off all this plastic. Here's the instructions at the bottom, as always. Another look at all the hands. Looks like some wrist pegs right here. This tray usually is just held on with a little bit of sticky. Not a lot of stuff, but that's okay. One more look at the hands. You've got your peace sign that Andrew Garfield throws up at the end. Your two pointing hands, your open hands to do web lines. These will go into your web shooters when you want to make it look like he's about to spin a web or spinning a web. More relaxed hands, crawly hands, and his thwip hands. So there we go for the top. Got your Amazing Spider-Man 2 base underneath. Everything's nicely covered in plastic. Got our extra mask here. Andrew Garfield head. And the webs. What's nice is this is our usual web assortment that we normally get. But underneath here, well, actually, this is one we also normally get. Standard bunched up, but web slinging hand. So they've got it pretty much down to a science on how to get these things in and out and how to package them, because it's the same webs you get in every box. All right. Let's take a look at this mask while we're here. Nice cloth mask. You can see there's a good little reflection of light. I don't know how close in we can get the focus on here. But a nice mask just for holding. Make it look like he took it off. You can't put this on the figure or on the unmasked sculpt. Like, there's no way you're getting all that Andrew Garfield hair into that small head. So, but it's nice that the lenses are raised. There's great, just a great texture to the webbing on the mask. There's great texture to the mask, sorry, with the nice web texture. And that the lenses are actually glued on top of it. It just makes for a really great effect. And I don't know if it's picking it up, but you can see the little, on the mask, just the difference in the lenses. They're really cool. There we go. Before we get to Spider-Man himself, here's a look at Andrew Garfield, your Amazing Spider-Man, your Peter 3 head sculpt. I was really curious how they did this whole thing. You can see how we have a lot of times when you do these Spidey head swaps, at least with the Tom Holland ones, the cloth goes all the way up to the neck and you just swap out the Spidey head for the civilian head. But this actually has a nice little layer here of skin exposed, like it would be in, quote, real life for Spidey. I'm just being really careful because there we go. Who needs this plastic? So basically my understanding is we're going to swap this piece out with the other one, but there we go. Here is your Andrew Garfield head sculpt. So here's the problem from what I understand from reading internet forums. This is a reuse of the Amazing Spider-Man hot toy, the ASM 1 hot toy sculpt. A little bit of a different paint up, and the ASM 1 Spidey hot toy had some battle damage. He had some cuts that he got in this fight from the lizard on his cheek. This does not have that, obviously, and you can tell he looks really young. He does not look like what would he have been, 37 or 38 in real life at the time they shot this movie. Recording this the day after his 40th. So, but the hair looks good. I think it looks like him. I just think it looks like it's, the ASM 1 movie. Not too much Peter from Spider-Man No Way Home. But, I mean, you make do with what you got. A lot of these figures from this movie were advertised with having a Peter Parker head, and a lot of them got canceled. This is the only one, as far as I know, that's getting away with it, with having the Peter head, so they can do the meme photo. But it's got that ASM branding. So that is the Peter head sculpt. All right, here we go. Spidey himself. Man, they've got it really nice and laid out here, protecting the suit. Underneath that, just his dynamic flight pole and the base. Man, I love that. I love this logo. That's a pretty cool spider. Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. And there's the clamp and the dynamic base. But come on, let's look at Spidey. All right, free up the head. Oh man, he's got like murder boots. Like he's ready for some action. Let me clip these really quick. Then we'll take a closer look at the suit and look at all this little protection. Nice ratcheted joints in the arms. That really helps with holding the pose. So glad to see that. actually this texture is really nice. It feels a little bit different than the PlayStation Spider-Man that I have in the classic suit, but good weave, dark blue. I know people have complained about the colors. There's looking at it right now under the camera where it looks a more vibrant red, but my eyes behind the camera, it looks a little darker. Not as red as it looks in the lens. That's kind of interesting. That's part of the fun, though, of like getting these toys is like, what do the prototypes look like? What does it look like in hand? What does it look like in people's reviews? And then what does it look like when you actually have the dang thing in your house and in your collection? But just lots of great detail on this costume. All right, here's Spidey, Peter 3 out of the box. And first impressions, this guy is amazing. Sorry, no pun intended, but I've been waiting a long time. I've always wanted to get an Amazing Spider-Man hot toy, and at the time, it just wasn't in my budget. So the opportunity to get an Amazing Spider-Man figure, an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man figure, again, I couldn't pass it up once all the rumors were true and this figure was a reality. It's kind of surreal to hold it right now. Yeah, I'm at a little bit of a loss for words here, but this costume is incredible. And yes, I understand the complaints, especially for Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I really do love his interpretation of Spidey and Peter Parker. And this still is my favorite movie suit. So the chance to actually capture it in 1/6 scale, as I've never gotten an Andrew Garfield figure before, I'm pretty stoked. I mean, it's one of the things I love about Hot Toys is having the costumes being as accurate as possible and seeing cloth bending like it would in real life. Not having the joints exposed where you could see it. I mean, if you look at the back, like this is a seamless piece. You don't see like where the head is connected. And I mean, it looks incredible. If you want to have them doing that dive from ASM 2, you could do that. Man, the red really pops. The metallic red on the spider, you can feel the texture. It feels a little rubbery. I don't know what the materials are, but I love this suit. It's such a perfect encapsulation of what this character looks like in film. So we'll do a close-up look at his particular brand of web shooters here. Let me punch in a little bit. We got the external web shooters. Now, I have seen a couple people who got this one early. And yeah, depending on how you pose it, the sleeves can get a little short. And you can see here it reveals the figure underneath and it's black. I wish they would have gone for a red plastic underbody. That way it would match this peg for the joint. So you got to be careful because that just kind of breaks the illusion. If it was red, it wouldn't be as noticeable when the arms shrink up a little bit during poses. I've seen a couple like doing some pretty crazy things. Actually, mine's holding up really well to where it's not revealing the suit underneath, which is good. Because obviously you can't get around something like this. If you're familiar with the prior figure, the prior ASM 2 figure, he had like these half hands. So it was all seamless. And then you would take off like basically the fingers and they would just detach. They had magnets. I like this suit a lot better, how they handled it. Quick look at his boots. I love just the curve of the web here. His ASM 1 suit didn't have that. They were like straight lines, especially when you got to like the mask. It didn't have the waviness of the web line. So happy to see this version change that up. Boots are good. Here's the bottom of the boots. Got that nice ASM web tread. I mean, he's pretty sweet, I think. But let's take a look with the Peter 3 head. Actually, before I do something dumb, here's the instruction booklet, because I've never taken off a head like this before. Okay, that sounded weird. But here we go. You just basically take it off, I guess. Here's how to do the webbing. We knew all this before. If you've had a prior Spidey, it's all pretty commonplace. Shows you how to do his mask. That's the hand that goes for the mask. Don't pull on the ankles of the figure because you might break it. Okay. Here's your dynamic flight stand. How to modify that. Don't try and take off the outfit. Don't excessively bend them. Okay. So, all right, that's pretty straightforward. No tips. Wish me luck as I take off the head. All right, that was fairly easy, actually. It felt hard at first and then just gave. So, putting the Peter head on. Making, needs a little more click, I think. I don't want to push on it too hard because I just got it. I don't want to break him right out of the box. But yeah, that is your Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, I like how they hide this in the seam itself. So you really, from a distance, can't even tell. Like up close, it might seem a little out of focus, or maybe that's just my camera. Like up close, yeah, maybe. Especially from the backside, not really as flush, at least on my figure, but once you get it going at a distance, I don't think you can really tell. No, I think he looks pretty good. All right, so here is Peter holding his mask. And here's a side-by-side with the Spidey head. Like they really have the unique shape of the Andrew Garfield Spidey head. Also, the body is very much an Andrew Garfield style frame. He's a lot thinner than the other Spider-Man figures that I have. He does look a little bit lankier. I appreciate that. And again, just a side-by-side with the head. I really like how they pulled off the lenses. There's some who say they're too dark. I get that because in some scenes they look whiter and others they look a little more gray. I think it depends on what part of the movie you're watching, what the lighting's like in that scene. But just a lot of great detail on Spidey all around. I just really dig. I really appreciate seeing. All right, so here are two Spideys to compare each other with. Obviously on the left we have the new, I'm calling it No Way Home, but it's really Amazing Spider-Man 2. And on the right we've got the Sony PlayStation 4 Spider-Man Classic suit. As you can tell, Classic here's got very vibrant colors versus the more muted colors of the movie. Classic here has been in a pretty exaggerated pose in the office, so some of the folds in his material, they got to go back into place, let's just say. And that takes some time. But overall, you can definitely see the difference between the two in terms of body style. Although they're both around the same height, when you compare them side by side, the Andrew Garfield figure is a lot thinner than the more muscular PS4 Spidey. Also, if you notice the heads, like he's got the whole full body cowl versus this is articulated and not made out of material that's plastic. And of course, we have the different Spidey logos on the back. But all in all, like, I feel like I have two very classic looking Spider-Man figures here. I thought I would stop with just one. I was always holding out for the classic version, which I did get, but first I wound up getting the 2099 because that came out first. I should say the 2099 from the game, not the Across the Spider-Verse movie. So I've got my video game Spidey, who's also a good stand-in for just a classic Spidey of my youth. He's got kind of like a Romita eye. And then I've got my favorite movie Spidey on the right. So I like to think I'm done, but we have another game coming out. So who knows? Just wanted to do one further glance at them side by side. Just two great looking Spidey figures. Now, granted, I don't really have a lot of critiques for this figure. In a perfect world where whatever legal things had resolved, and I really don't know if it was Andrew Garfield not granting likeness rights or, Hot Toys or whatever company not wanting to spend more money on a No Way Home license and just wanted to reuse this Amazing Spider-Man 2 license. I really wish that we had a few more extras with him. If we had a modern looking Peter 3 head, if he had accessories that were tied to No Way Home, I know there's not a lot, but if he had a lab coat to go over this, I think that would look great. Granted, that's something I'm sure someone's modded somewhere and you can find one and buy really easy, but that would have been fun so you could redo the lab scene, because as it stands right now, you have to buy the lizard diorama, which is already sold out, which has the formula to make him back into Dr. Connors. That's the only accessory that's come out that would make it a Peter 3 from No Way Home. But outside of that, like, I wish this was red underneath the actual body in case you do get that gap between the fabric and the figure. I think he's really just a really stunning figure. I'm glad it worked out the way it did and I didn't get the prior releases, because this one just seems to be, while very similar, head and shoulders above prior versions. And no pun intended. Wow, he almost looks black instead of blue on the sides. That's really cool. Again, it's one of the things I like about these figures is with the cloth, you get it looking more movie accurately, and it can capture the light in ways that you wouldn't necessarily see with just plastic. So, and just take a look at that chest logo. If I can get it to focus again, like, it really stands out being on top of the fabric. It's just a really impressive figure all the way through. Really quick though, we should look at his web hands just to see how it looks. So here we have your pre-web thwipping hand. And that's our cat in the background. So you simply take this piece out. Simply, he says, as he's trying to do it live on camera. All right, so to get the web shooting hand fully, you just take this piece out, like so. Swap it in for one of the other pieces that it's included with. I think I grabbed the wrong piece. Yep. It's hard to tell. Nope, because the web should go that way, so you have the hole. It's a very snug fit, which is good. There we go, snapped in. Now it looks like the web is starting to come out from there. Attach that on. And now you have the beginning of the web coming out. Let's get a web piece. All right, so with some fidgeting, you can actually just position this so the web shooter lines up with the web, and he'll be shooting it out. Unfortunately, there's no web hand accessory to catch Gwen, but we all know that didn't work anyways. So here we go. Not too bad. All right, no unboxing video would be complete without comparing other Hot Toy figures with each other. But in this case, being Spider-Man, well, you've got to do the meme. Granted, I only have an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I don't have the Tobey Maguire because he hasn't been released yet, and he just sold out last week. And I don't have a Tom Holland figure yet. The final suit from the end of the movie when he's swinging, that one's already sold out, but you can still pick up his integrated suit. They haven't done one in just his classic red and black from the beginning of the movie, the one that got updated from Far From Home. The only way you can get a figure of that is by buying a movie special edition version. I'm butchering the name, but that one has battle damage to it. But at least it doesn't have the black on the belts. So for me, in my collection, this is as close as I'm going to get to recreating the meme of Tom, Andrew, and Tobey. But in this case, I've got PS4 Classic suit, Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, and Spidey 29 PS4 suit. So they all came with pointer fingers, but for whatever reason, 2099 only came with one pointer finger. He has this weird, knife hand. Only one of those, like he's slicing something or karate chopping. I don't know. But I figured I would keep Spidey in his Spidey mask for this instead of the Andrew Garfield head, since none of my other Spideys are unmasked. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun unboxing this. It's I'm really stoked to have this in my collection now. I don't know what first pose I'm going to have them displayed in, but I am extremely happy with this. I love the way the suit turned out. Just looking at it now, just the different shades you get, where the web looks a little gray, it looks a little black, a little silver. Just all the minute costume details that they packed into this figure just look really great. And like I said earlier, still my favorite Amazing Spidey suit, or I'm sorry, my favorite Spider-Man suit when it comes to live action. I really like the eyes, the way they kind of capture a Michael Ringo look. And I feel like it's more on the money than some of the other suits. I mean, the first Tobey Maguire suit I think is great, but what really got me for this suit is just the lenses. I really love the more rounded, wider lenses. Not to say that I don't like the more Ramita-inspired Tom Holland lenses, but this one's still my favorite, at least until Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man Homeward Bound. I don't know. Whatever we're doing next time. But again, if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for watching this unboxing video on the Spideydude Radio Network. Again, if you like the content we do here, Spideydude Experience, Make My Mayday, all the Books of X, all the other content that we offer, we ask that you please like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you this great Spidey content. Until next time, take care, true believers.